Hey guys, in this series of videos you're going to learn about how to simplify rational expressions. So what are rational expressions? Basically, rational expressions are fractions that involve algebraic expressions. So basically, we're learning how to simplify fractions that have algebra involved. And well, before we can get on to that, let's do a quick review on simplifying fractions that just have numbers in them. So if we had something like 14 out of 21, 14 over 21, we can rewrite 14 as 2 times 7, and we can rewrite 21 as 3 times 7. And because 7 divided by 7 equals 1, so we can cross them out and change it to 1. So on the top we have 2, on the bottom we have 3. Right, so the answer is 2 over 3. And if you need more practice with these, I suggest that you do a tutorial on fractions, simplifying fractions. So using the same theory, if we had something like, okay, if you remember factorizing, expanding and factorizing. Okay, 20x minus 5, the top bit. Well, let's just do the top bit. So 20x minus 5. If you remember how to factorize, basically you have to take out the common factor between the two terms, 20x and 5. And what's common is the factor 5. So if you take out 5, and then you think in your head 5 times what number will give you 20x. So 5 times 4x will give you 20x. And then 5 times what will give you negative 5, and the answer is minus 1. So 20x minus 5 equals 5 bracket 4x minus 1. And let's write that here, 5 bracket 4x minus 1. So basically we have factorized the top part of the fraction, the numerator. And let's do the same thing with the denominator. 25 equals 5 times 5. And now we have 5 divided by 5. 5 on both the top and the bottom. So now we're left with 4x minus 1 over 5. Okay, so we have fully simplified this fraction. Now let's do a harder one. Let's do I'm going to take out the common factor in the top. We have 6 and 12, so the common factor is 6. There's an x in both terms, so take that out, and then we're left with y minus 2z. Right, because 6x times y is 6xy, and 6x times negative 2z is negative 12xz over 4 and 8, so let's take out 4. We got y's on both terms, so y. Now 4y times y is 4y squared. 4y times 2z is 8yz. And now we can cross out the terms that are the same on both the top and the bottom. And notice we can only do this when we have 4x times y minus 2z. So this, because we've written nothing here, it's actually times, and same thing there. So that's why we can cross it out. So we're left with 6x over 4y. Okay, so that is simplified. Actually, we got 6 over 4, which can then be simplified down to 3 over 2. So it's actually 3x over 2y. Okay, so I'll give you a few practice questions for these. Okay, I will give you a couple of minutes to do these. Come back and check the answers when you're done. 6a plus 6, take out the common factor 6, and we're left with a plus 1 over 12. So 6 over 12 cancels down to 1 over 2. So it's a plus 1 over 2. AB plus AW, take out the A as the common factor, we're left with B plus W. Take out the 4 as the common factor, left with B plus W again. B plus W over B plus W cancels each other out, we're left with A over 4. Third one, again, 3 and 15. 3 is obviously a common factor, so we're left with 3 bracket a minus 5. Now, the bottom part, a squared minus 25. If we have a look at how to factorize this one, a squared minus 25, if you remember the equation a squared minus b squared equals a plus b, a minus b. So applying that to this, we can pretend 25 is b squared. So if b squared is 25, b must be 5. So applying this equation to factorize this expression, we can then rewrite that as a plus 5, a minus 5. So that's what we're going to write at the bottom, a plus 5, a minus 5. And you can see both the top and the bottom have a minus 5, so we can cross them out. Cancel down to 1, so we're left with 3 over a plus 5. And that's done. Okay, next part in simplifying algebraic expressions. We just need to do a quick reminder on factorizing quadratics. Let's use factorizing quadratics. Just to make sure that you guys still remember how to do that. So if we have an equation like a squared plus 6a plus 8, we're asked to factorize it, so we're going to put it into 2 brackets. Now if you have forgotten how to do this, basically you draw a box, you put the first term on the top left, a squared, you put the last term on the bottom right, 8, and then you think of 2 terms that multiply together to give you a squared, and that would be a times a is a squared. Now you think of two terms that multiply together to give you 8, and that'll be 2 times 4. And then you fill in these boxes. 2 times a is 2a, 4 times a is 4a. Now we need to check that the diagonal of these boxes, the top right and the bottom left, check that they add together to give you the term in the middle. And 2a plus 4a is 6a. Now when this check is correct, that means your headings of the table of the box are the solutions to the problem. So we have a plus 2 and a plus 4, right, as written there. These are your answers that go into the factorized brackets. So once you have done these, we can then use them to solve, to simplify equations such as this one. A squared, simplify a squared plus 6a plus 8 over, let's say, a squared minus 16. Okay, so the top bit is equal to a plus 2, a plus 4, and the bottom bit is equal to a plus 4, a minus 4. And the bottom bit, you need to use the formula that we just discussed before, where a squared minus b squared equals a plus b, a minus b. This formula is called the difference of two squares. So use that, and you realize in the top and the bottom we have a plus 4 in the top, a plus 4 in the bottom. So we're left with a plus 2 and a minus 4 in the bottom. So this is the simplified fraction. So let's do a couple of these as practice. Okay, so 2 of these should be enough to get you started on these questions. So let's try them. Come back in a few minutes. Okay, so the top part, using the box method, we end up with x plus 6, x plus 3, and the bottom part we have x plus 6. So x plus 6 on the top, x plus 6 on the bottom, we're left with x plus 3 is the answer. Now let's do this one. We got on the top a plus 3, a plus 3, and on the bottom we have a plus 3, a minus 3, using the difference of squares rule. Now we got a plus 3 on both top and bottom, so the answer is a plus 3 over a minus 3. Okay, you could get a whole lot of different combinations for these problems. Basically use the box method, factorize, and then simplify them. Right, that's how you do all of the questions. Okay, let's do one where we have to combine the fractions. So combining the fractions, if we have something like 5a over 4 plus 6a over 3. How do you add them together? Now the first thing we remember about adding is we can only add fractions if the bottom number, the denominator, is the same for both fractions. Now that's a problem here because one fraction has a denominator of 4, one fraction has a denominator of 3. So what we want to do is multiply both the numerator and the denominator of the first fraction by 3, which you are allowed to do with fractions, because if you multiply both the numerator and the denominator by the same number, this fraction stays equal. And the second fraction, we have 6a times 4 and 3 times 4. So we've got the first fraction multiplied by 3 on both the top and the bottom, and the second fraction we've multiplied by 4 on both the top and the bottom. So we're left with 15a over 12 plus 24a over 12. Now we have the same number for both the top and the bottom, which means we can combine them by keeping the bottom number the same and just adding the top numbers, 15a plus 24a. And now we can simplify that because 15a plus 24a is 39a and over 12. Now both 39 and 12 can be divided by 3, so the answer is 13 over 4, 13a over 4. And that is the answer. Okay, see if you can do this one on your own. Now the first thing we want to do is make them the same. So we have x minus y times y over xy. So we've got the first fraction multiplied by y on both the top and the bottom. And then we do the second fraction multiplied by x on both the top and the bottom. And now we can combine these. So that gives us xy in the bottom and y bracket x minus y plus x bracket x plus y. So we have just combined them. And if you want to, or actually your teacher might suggest that you expand the brackets at the end, just so you don't have brackets left over in the end. So you're left with xy minus y squared plus x squared plus xy over xy. And as you can see, we have xy plus xy, so the answer is negative y squared plus x squared plus 2xy over xy. Yep, so that is the answer. Now the second one, I'll just draw with a different color so we don't get confused. Okay, so we have x minus y and x plus y on the bottom of these fractions, and we want to make them the same. So what we do is we get the first fraction and we change this to x bracket x plus y, and on the bottom we have x minus y x plus y. So we multiply both the top and the bottom by x plus y, which is the bottom part of the other fractions. And now let's get this fraction, multiply both the top and the bottom by the denominator of the other fraction. So we have y bracket x minus y over x plus y x minus y. Now you can see that we have the same denominator on both fractions. Scroll down a bit. Okay, so once we have that, then we can combine the fractions. We got x minus y x plus y, and the top part of the fraction is now x bracket x plus y minus y bracket x minus y. So the top part then becomes x squared plus xy minus yx plus y squared over x minus y x plus y. So plus xy and minus yx, they're actually the same terms. One's positive, one's negative, so you can cross them out. So you're left with x squared plus y squared over, and if you want to simplify, if you want to okay, so that is the answer for that one. And I guess to finish off, we might do another one where we multiply the fractions. Multiplying two fractions, you can just combine them by getting the numerator times the numerator, put it in the top, and the denominator times the denominator and put it in the bottom. And notice how we have c minus d there, c minus d there, and we have a over ab. So a divided by a becomes 1 over b. Alright, dividing, let's just do the same question, but change the times in, actually let's just do a different one. So if we have 8 over x minus y divided by 4 over y minus x. Now let's change the divide into times, so that becomes 8 over x minus y times y minus x over 4. So that's what you have to do when you're dividing fractions. You change the sign into times, and you turn the second fraction upside down to make it y minus x over 4, and then you multiply it as usual. So we're left with 8 bracket y minus x over 4 bracket x minus y. And can we simplify that any more? Well, we have 8 over 4, that's 2 over 1 minus y. If we times both the top and the bottom by negative 2, y minus x over negative bracket x minus y. Negative bracket x minus y becomes negative 2y minus x negative x plus y. Now these two have just become the same thing because we have minus x plus y is actually the same as y minus x. So now we can cross these two out and we're left with just -2. Now this is a bit harder than usual, and probably only if you have tried these for maybe 100 times, then you will see how to do them. Okay, so thanks for watching the video on how to simplify algebraic fractions, and see you next time.